Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Locker Room 411. This is the HJCAC, the Hohokam Junior College Athletic Conference, and today I'm joined by not one but two of the Maricopa Mustangs. They are a big part of the conference and a big part of the Mustangs team. I have Andrew Palacios and JJ Dickerson. Guys, welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Well, the first thing I'll ask you guys collectively is, how's the season been going? Not necessarily in a won and loss standpoint, but just as far as just you guys getting on the field and you guys just enjoying yourselves. Andrew, I'll ask you first.
It's been an experience. I mean, from last year to this year, I definitely see an improvement with the league itself. But other than that, it's just fun to be on the field and be able to get my film to go to the next level for sure.
Absolutely, and we're definitely rooting for both of you guys to get to the next level. JJ, how about yourself? Got to feel good to just kind of get out there. We're actually in mid-season. It's weird to say. It doesn't even feel like we're opening anything, but hey, you're kicking and you're doing your thing.
Yeah, so same with Andrew. It's good to be back on the field. It's tough season, but, we still come together every practice to get better.
Absolutely. No, that's a good thing. And over the course of the show, we'll talk about you guys coming together as a team and the relationship that you guys have. Just overall, we're going to have some fun and we're going to talk some football. And we're going to start with Andrew. First I'll ask your position.
Yes.
Describe your position. You're kind of a hybrid type of guy, but you're a jack of all trades. Tell us about you.
Yeah, so last year I started off as a strong safety, just specifically strong safety. But this year I kind of play in the box a little bit. They'll move me. Sometimes I'll be like a linebacker nickel. Sometimes I'll be up high. Sometimes I'll be outside, just pure nickel. So they move me around everywhere depending on the scheme and if the team runs more, passes more, just to fit me personally.
And because of your position, you get a lot of tackles.
Yeah.
Every now and then you pick the ball off. You cover a lot of ground. And the first highlight I want you to walk us through will be one of your interceptions, because you have to read the quarterback a lot. Basically on every play, hey, Is he going to hand off to the running back? But in this particular play that we're going to see right now, you were able to intercept the opposing quarterback. Let's check it out. So kind of walk us through this play, Andrew.
Yeah, so watching film, obviously we see the quarterback looks kind of to the left a lot or to the right on this play when he wants the go ball. And since it was one-on-one coverage, we kind of struggle sometimes on one-on-one coverage. So I kind of knew to lean towards that way, and I started off more to the left so that I could kind of bait the quarterback to throw it that way, and then close coming late so I could get the interception.
In a position such as yours, are you the unofficial captain of the defense, so to speak, or is that more of the linebacker standpoint?
I would say I'm one of the captains on the defense. We definitely have a lot of people who speak up and a lot of people who are older and been on the team longer than me. But I would for sure say I'm one of the captains when it comes to people asking me what we're doing, play schemes. New people always come up to me. So I would definitely say I'm one of the captains for sure, but not the only captain.
Sure. No, that's fully understandable. And also from a defensive standpoint, yes, we got to look at the interception, but also getting into that opponent's backfield, being able, that's a big part of not only individual defense, but team defense. You don't want the chain, you want the chains to move the other way.
Right.
You don't want them moving forward. We're going to see a good tackle for loss, as we're going to see Andrew just really be able to read the defense and check it out. We see the tackle for loss. So walk us through this play. You start at the 50.
Yeah, so really just seeing everyone come down and receivers come down a block, kind of not really crack, but, not really running a route either. And usually the coaches tell us to read the last tackle on the line. I seen him just go straight forward for the defensive tackle, so I just knew it was a run. More outside because of the receiver's standpoint, it was more trips. So they were going to run it outside or inside, so I was like, time to just shoot the gap and go.
Was it rare on a play like that for you to be essentially untouched?
No, I don't think it's rare. Most of the time, it's more rare to be untouched coming up the middle. But outside, I feel like most people don't really go for the safety, at least in my stance, because I'm just quick to the ball.
Okay, no, that's good. No, that shows that you have been skilled and well coached in learning where to be and where not to be, because that's a big part of defense. Speed also is a big part, and something I've learned in covering the game of football. While speed is important, it's just as important to be quick. Being in the right place and closing speed is huge, because there's such a thing as just track speed and football speed.
Right.
That's two different things. But in this case, the next highlight we're going to see you with some good closing speed and just really take on a solid block and shed that block. Let's check it out. So you can take us through this play, Andrew.
Yeah, so on this play, I seen everyone flooding the left side. His quarterback rolling out, so I knew that the guy that was coming across was my guy. Seen the ball thrown, and I just broke on it and came up. We were in like a cover 3 or 4, I believe, at that point. So I wasn't really trying to lock onto the man too much. Seen the quarterback roll out, throw it, just broke on it.
TFLs, PBUs, you're a man with all initials. In that case, truly a pass breakup. That's just as important as an interception, because it keeps it down, it stops the clock. Tell us kind of, again, elaborate a little bit on that closing speed and just being able to read the defense from a backfield standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, knowing the quarterback was rolling out at that point with our defense, that was last year's clip, with our defensive line just getting to the quarterback all the time, it was easy for us to just clamp onto a man when the quarterback rolled out. So once he came across, I just knew he was going to throw something. He had to throw something, so I just broke on it.
Special teams is a huge part of any football game. And JJ, we're not going to leave you out. You're a big part of this, that's for sure. A lot of people don't realize that 1 out of every 3 plays in a football game is special teams.
Right.
People always think, oh, hey, offense and oh, defense. Before we get to your next clip, JJ, talk about special teams, and just kind of important because you do both. You're not just a kicker. You're a punter as well. So you see the field more than most when it comes down to a non-offensive or defensive specialist.
Yeah, so special teams, obviously I'm a kicker and a punter. I see it as like when the game comes down to like a field goal, like anything, like I'm the guy that's supposed to go out there and make the play.
Is that something you did in high school as well? I was fortunate to see Andrew a little bit in high school simply because he's an Arizona native. But for yourself, did you kick and punt? Did you have the same role in high school and then some?
Yeah, so I played soccer and then I played football, so that's where I get my strength from.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Wow, no, that's definitely good stuff. And yes, we're going to take one last look at, I'm going to say, your final highlight for the day, a special teams clip. Let's check it out. And Andrew, yeah, you can talk about your lane and
For sure. I was the 5 on this one, so I just knew to get to the ball. I feel special teams is a big point. It definitely sets the field where the other team's going to start, and I know that since I'm going to get back on defense, I for sure want them to work with more field than less field. So, I mean, hustling has just always been a part of my game. That's why I feel like kickoff is an important part too, because I get to hustle down the field, get a tackle, and then start at a better position for the defense than it is for their offense.
I like that. I don't think I've heard someone phrase it that way from a playing standpoint. Yeah, you rather 88 yards behind you than, let's say, 37 yards behind you. That's for sure. From a safety standpoint, and this is probably going to be an obvious question, but you like to hit folks, don't you?
Yeah, for sure.
That's the one thing I'll say from me to you. I never played organized football in a sense because I didn't like to get hit, and I was never a hitter. So, no, props to you for being able to mix it up. Something I'll ask both of you guys, because you do play different positions. A lot of your games are on turf, on that good turf that Mountain Ridge has. One of your clips was on grass. Does that make a difference to you?
Grass, definitely, just because it could be more spotty than turf, obviously, so there's more likely chances you could slip. But grass does have a better grip, I feel like. Like, regular dirt has better grip than turf. Okay. So that's the only really difference, I feel like.
We're speaking with Andrew Palacios and JJ Dickerson. They are I'm going to say two solid individuals for the Maricopa Mustangs. And JJ, I'll ask you the same question because the ball is obviously very, very important to you and the holder.
Yeah.
From a surface standpoint, tell us the differences.
I like grass better because that's
Okay.
what in high school that's what I played on. So and then turf, I feel like I'm a slip all the time. So
We haven't had we kind of had some bad weather this year, definitely worse than previous years. How does a wet grass field affect you?
when I'm going for a field goal, like my plant foot, it either I can slip or the ball's wet, so I won't get as much power from it. So
you have to be a lot more conscious than in normal standpoint. And something we want to be conscious of is our health and athletics. And we are going to talk about AMP Tri-Release Protein. It blends 3 protein types to develop lean muscle and enhance strength. And if you would like to learn more, text 602-370-8241. And we're not going to stop there because we have several different products, as we have BCAA Plus, fuels muscle with key amino acids during your workout, and certainly last but not least, and we'll get to talk about it again, folks, we have Amped Repair, and that is for post-workout repair, helps reduce soreness and rebuild muscle to improve recovery. Text 602-370-8241, promo code Mustangs, and you can learn more. That's Isogenics working from the beach. And the one thing I'll also say about their products, they are an informed sport, meaning, yes, they are very legitimate and they do what they're supposed to do. As we are with 2 of the Maricopa Mustangs this evening, we're speaking with Andrew Palacio. He is I'm going to keep it simple on myself. He's a safety. That's what I'm going to call it. He is a safety, as well as JJ Dickerson. And so far, we've highlighted Andrew's highlights. We've certainly talked about him and his prowess on the field. But we're going to get into a little bit more special teams with JJ Dickerson, as he's a big part of the Mustangs. He puts that extra point on the scoreboard after a touchdown. He kicks off as far as special teams is concerned. He's the guy who tries to give the defense the best field position they can, but then there are also the punts, and he's got to be a spot-on punter. And JJ, we're going to roll a few of your clips from a field goal and an extra point standpoint. That's a huge part of your job.
yeah.
Before we get into the highlights, tell us the difference between an extra point and a field goal. No, not 1 point and 3 points, but your mentality going into the extra point. Hey, your team just scored a touchdown. All right, is it just, hey, I'm tacking one on, or hey, I got to nail this? Whereas a field goal, hey, the drive stops with you.
Yeah, so extra point, it's like, for me, it's just staying focused because it's easy missing the extra point. So just keeping my head down, striking through to where a field goal is, where like I'm deep, and then I would say like putting more power into it.
Okay, there definitely is a difference. And let's check out this field goal from J.J. Dickerson. I believe it was from 39 yards out. So, JJ, you got a lot of arc into it. You put in the power that you mentioned. But tell me about kind of the line of scrimmage, your camaraderie, or what you have to do as far as the snapper, how you're in sync. Because a lot of people don't realize it's like the snap has to get off properly.
Yeah.
A long snapper has to be on point. And you, of course, have to take the right steps. What goes into really a typical kicking play?
Yeah, so the snap is like the most important thing is getting the snap, and then my holder, making sure the laces are not in, and then making sure I'm on time. Because if I'm not on time, that's when they get to block it, and then just following through just to make the kick.
Where do you make your break? And this is actually something I've never asked someone before, and I've watched a lot of football, and obviously just seeing your clip there. Do you start to approach the ball when the holder has it in his hands or when it's snapped? Kind of what's that mental timing for you?
So it's when my holder taps his hand on the ground, and then I count 1 Mississippi, and then he snaps the ball, and then I go.
Outstanding. Okay, that's good stuff. And also from the field goal standpoint, what are you doing on the sideline as your team is driving? Are you putting yourself in certain situations of, oh wow, it's 3rd down. All right, if they don't convert here, I got to be ready to go. Or just kind of walk us through what your thought process when the Mustangs are on the move.
Yeah, so when it's 3rd down, I hear my special teams coach saying maybe field goal or punt. And then I'm practicing like my swinging, ball contact on the sideline just to make sure I'm good and staying warm.
And from a special teams standpoint, yes, you could be called on at any time. We saw the field goal. Our next highlight will be of a punt because, yeah, you're like a fireman. You got to be ready at all times because, yes, in the NFL and at major college, you've got a punter who specializes in that. You've got a kicker who specializes in that. But you've got to be in tune. So we're going to check out one of JJ's punts because he placed it really well. He kicked it and it turned into a 50-yard punt. So walk us through this if you could. It was a low snap, but you got into it pretty good.
Yeah, it was a low snap, and then my mindset was just to get it off. But my drop was really good.
When you're in a situation like that, it's weird how 1 yard can make the difference in 20 yards or no yards or 19 yards. Do you practice angle in a situation like that where you're backed up a little bit? Do you just let it fly? Or are you trying to take a little bit off of it so it could be down at the 2 or 3 yard line? What goes through a punter's mind?
My goal was to push the returner back. Because I was at
you did. Yeah, you definitely did.
I was at the 20, so my thought is to at least put it at the 20 or the 10 behind them.
From fielding a punt, because that was a low snap, this season, has there been any bad 4th downs where it's been a bad snap, a real bad snap, where, all right, now all of a sudden you're the quarterback, you've got to make something happen?
Yeah, so in that same game, my next punt was my snapper. It went through my legs.
Oh, wow.
Then I had to run and get it, and then I got it off just in time.
Okay, so you did get it
Yeah.
off. Okay, no, that's good stuff. A lot truly does go into a punt. Are you the one barking the signals? Are you clapping? How does the punt get off?
So I flash my hand, and then he snaps it.
Okay, good stuff. There is so much that goes into special teams. I am really glad that Coach Madowski sent a special teamer down here because, again, 1 out of every 3 plays in a typical football game is a special teams type of play. That's something a lot of people don't realize. So while offense is huge, defense, of course, is big, as Andrew can certainly attest. Special teams is huge, and a huge part of special teams is the kickoff. And that's going to be the next highlight that we're going to get to see. And it's a scenario where both of the gentlemen to my left are involved. Andrew obviously runs down there on kickoff coverage, but before there's any coverage, J.J. Dickerson has to get the ball off, as we're going to see. He has to get a good kick. So again, JJ, kind of walk us through this. You got into it pretty good, and in this case, you got it into the end zone, and that's what you wanted.
Yeah, so I was, as a kickoff, I make sure I got to have the right steps. Because if I don't, I can shank it, which I have this season.
Okay.
And then, getting good ball contact.
Sure.
As well. And then just following through.
From a kickoff standpoint, a lot of people think, it's easy to kick off. I got 53 yards on either side of me, or we'll say 27 yards on either side of you. Have you been penalized for putting the ball out of bounds this year?
No, I haven't.
Good. No, that's awesome. It shows that there's concentration in that. You have to keep the ball obviously inbounds. You have to keep it deep. And if there is a quote-unquote deadly returner, you want to kind of make sure it's not going into his hands. Yeah. As we're catching up with Andrew Palacios and, of course, J.J. Dickerson, you were involved in those plays that he showed, in particular the kickoff, and we talked about it a little bit earlier. What's your goal, your mindset when he kicks the ball off and you're hustling downfield?
I mean, most of the time, JJ just boots it out the end zone, so I don't got to worry about much. But when it is returned, I just focus on getting to the returner, making sure my eyes are on ball, and just trying to get through whoever's trying to block me to make sure I can make a tackle. Outstanding.
Do you have your eye on a guy who's probably blocking you, or is it because you don't ever want to get blindsided?
Right.
Is your head on a swivel when you're going downfield?
Sort of, kind of. I mean, I really just like to run down there full speed. Most of the time, someone either might move or just get ran through. So most of the time, I'll have my head on a swivel when it's like I get past so many people, and then it's like, okay, who might come after me?
Right, because you've already passed 5 or 6 guys.
Right, but most of the time, most people just go on to the next person, so I'm kind of open, free lane to just go make a tackle.
Outstanding. We're talking with a couple of key cogs on the Maricopa Mustangs, and we're going to talk about how they got here. And Andrew, yes, he is an Arizona native, but J.J. Dickerson's story is a little bit different in how he became a Mustang. J.J., walk us through your senior year in high school, which I believe was a pandemic year.
Yeah.
How did the pandemic issue affect your high school? Before we even get to any college scenario, just tell us about the whole mindset of, wow, we're in a pandemic. How did it affect Colorado football? Just bring us up to speed in that.
Yeah, so in Colorado, it was iffy. Like the summer of 2020, we didn't know we was going to have a season.
Like it was here a little bit. Sure.
But we still had like workouts, but we had to wear a mask and everything. And then in October, they let us know we can have 7 games.
Okay.
And then we played 5 of them, and then our season got canceled because the whole team had COVID.
Wow, yeah. A shortened season in so many ways. That had to be rough on you. I mean, just from I'm going to say a 16, 17-year-old kid at the time, it's like, we're not getting the play. This might, not even realizing it, that might have been your last down of football. You just never know when it's going to end. Walk us through your senior year a bit from a post-football standpoint, from the spring and into graduation, and just kind of, you played at junior college prior, if I'm correct, but just tell us about kind of that and how you got here to Arizona.
Yeah, so springtime of my senior year, I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't hear about JUCO football until my head coach brought it up. So he mentioned it to me, and then I went to Cali, Allen Hancock, some JUCO, but I redshirted, and then I came here.
Wow, okay. Definitely good stuff. Andrew, a little bit different for you. Yes, COVID affected all of us in some way, shape, or form in 2020, that's for sure. You guys initially had, obviously, the season is 10 games normally.
Right.
7 or 8 games?
We had 8, yes.
8 games. And did you get through all 8? It's been so long, I can't recall how many.
We did not get through 8. The last team we played, which was Willow Canyon football, they had COVID, a breakout of COVID for many players, so that game got canceled completely, and we didn't play that game at all.
Wow, that's obviously a disappointment for you. Much like I asked JJ, what was your mindset of, wow, am I ever going to get to play football again? Is it over? It obviously isn't, but just tell us what was going through your mind in that spring.
Yeah, at the end of high school, I didn't even know JUCO was a thing at all. Like, I've never heard of JUCO, anything. So I was going full summer without knowing, and by, like, early spring, close to, like, actual football time when it comes in fall, I heard from one of my coaches that he went to the Maricopa Mustangs, and then he told one of the coaches about me, and then he reached out to me, and then I went then on to play for the Maricopa Mustangs. But I didn't know at all JUCO football, and I barely started, like, that year very late not in the season, but, like, before the season started. I didn't really do much of the spring or anything.
Did you stay in shape? Obviously you had, but what's it like when, I'm going to say that spring, your season's over, your senior year of football is over, you don't know much or anything at all about junior college. What are you doing? From a physical standpoint?
For me, I like to be in the gym just normally. Okay. I like keeping up on my physique. But I didn't really train much power. So like power lift, power clean, stuff like that. I didn't really train much of that, more of just like keeping my body in shape. So it was very different than actual like football workouts I wasn't hitting field as much. I wasn't doing cardio as much. It was just more of weights and stuff like that.
For you, your junior college experience now, a little bit different than JJ, and we're going to get back to you in a sec. I don't want to say it's an extension of high school, but you're still at home. It's almost like as if you were going to ASU but not living in a dorm.
Right.
What's it like continuing your football in your home state, still being around a lot of friends and family?
It's nice because everyone's still here. I can have the help and have support from everyone in my house. That's nice to have everyone here. The only difference would be, obviously, going out of state. I like to explore a lot. So, obviously, if I went out of state, it'd be a lot different experience with exploring and seeing everything around me. But I love being here with my family and everything like that. So, I like cherishing the time I have with them until I do move on.
And, JJ, a little bit different for you because you're not around a lot of family right now.
Yeah.
What's it been like for you the last 6 months or so being out here?
It's good. Just meeting new people. Obviously, I don't have my family, so just connecting with the teammates.
As we wrap things up here on the Locker Room 411, I'm going to give these two individuals a chance to really just share their strengths with all of our viewers. And we get a lot of viewers. We're blessed that you guys are a part of this Locker Room 411. JJ, a chance for you to sell yourself when a team is looking at you. What are they getting? They're getting a good kicker. They're getting a fine young man. But sell yourself for the next 30 seconds.
They're getting a good athlete. I'm respectful. I treat my coaches like I care for them. Don't talk back. My work ethic is pretty good.
Outstanding.
And, yeah.
Andrew, same thing for you as we wrap it up.
You're getting a person who can play multiple things on defense, very versatile, whether it be in the box or up top, very coachable, and someone who can lead a team also. Very not outspoken, but I like to make sure everything goes right for my team and make sure everyone is ahead of the game. So someone who studies film also, make sure it's on top of everything so the team can be prepared as much as I am.
Well, we have fully enjoyed studying some of the film with you. It's a rare scenario when you hear players break down their own film. Yes, anyone can send out huddle, which is amazing. But at the same time, when you hear players talking about the actual play and what was going on to their left, in front of them, that sort of thing, that just lends credence to what these Mustangs can bring. And before we wrap it up, we are going to mention AMP Try Release one more time, as it blends 3 protein types to develop lean muscle and enhance strength. And again, text 602-370-8241, promo code Mustangs, as this is outstanding. Isogenics, indeed, working from the beach, a very solid company. And we have to thank Dynamic Video Solutions for putting all of this together. He's JJ Dickerson. He's Andrew Palacios. I'm Brett Quintine saying good night. This is the HJCAC Locker Room 411 Report.